Greetings, I am Live.
And I am Scandal.
And let's deal with some girl tropes together. All right, so we have moved into your protagonist is now suddenly slightly catty and defensive towards their best friend. And now girls are going to attack each other because they're only there to be obstacles to each other's achievements with the boys.
Hey! No wonder we have problems. Anyway.
So we are going to do our best with this scene and see what we can do. I love the dead silence, though, of the, like the silence of the car kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
The sound drops out completely. The air leaves the room as these girls walk
approach
to your table. All right.
Great. Until a group of 3 girls comes to my table. Oh my God, they're all, like, illustrated?
One of them is illustrated.
It's Cindy.
You have Cindy and her shadow friends.
Cindy and her, she's a summoner.
This is like that, like, sort of like,
oh dear.
I can't think of the name. I'm sorry, forgive me. It sounds like Mexican restaurant music.
I could kind of see that. I get you.
Like
I get you. But also, like, I don't see it. It's just because
like
it's
elevator. I was like elevator mariachi music.
Yes. Okay.
There we go. There we go. That's so
it's Cindy, a blonde cheerleader who's also a popular bully, and her popular bully. I love the fact that, like, those two things going together. Everybody knows she's a bully, but they're really popular anyway.
Except for I read it differently than that.
How?
I read it differently than that. Amongst the bullies, she's the most popular of the bullies. If I had to be bullied, I wanted to be Cindy.
Invite her. Yes. She's my favorite bully to bully me. I mean, that was the other one I was also thinking of too. And her 2 minions.
Also, like, popular bully feels like a job. Like, you know, popular waitress. She's a popular bully. This is my position in the school.
Right?
I'm
like,
well.
oh dear.
Right.
Do you want me to do it since you played so many people?
I mean, but you have talked to yourself a lot in the last couple episodes.
It's true.
It's true.
All right, fine.
Let me see. If I can, I was like, usually these kind of girls are just very, I
just don't like it, though. Again, like, the thing is, like, this has dissolved really rapidly, basically into a serious amount of, like, heavy tropes.
Hey, guess what? They don't police shoulders at this school.
Oh.
She has them.
Oh my God, that's a good point. So, just in case you don't know, and you don't live in the United States where people can literally get policed for their fucking hairstyles, because that's the kind of world we live in.
We're not talking about actual police, we're talking about school rules.
We're talking about school rules, but that's like a level of basically control and policing.
Yes.
Basically.
But just given the time.
Yes, absolutely. But they also tend to have a rule where you're not supposed to ever show your shoulders.
Or specifically, like girl students aren't supposed to show their shoulders.
You know, you're going. Actually, there's also been like thing going. They were concerned that they were distracting male students or male teachers, which I thought was horrifying. Not only are we not going to encourage basically men to just not be attracted to young girls, we're just going to go, it's your fault, you need to dress differently.
And we're not going to have people be accountable for their own interests or focuses. You're not going to have to learn to discipline your mind or focus on what you want to focus on.
Or recognize.
Like children, like very young children, when they're teaching them, they're going, you need to work on building their attention span. This is one of the big things in like child development psychology. Is building your attention span and your ability to focus, not look at and you know, basically get distracted by other things.
Right.
So we're not going to help any male-identified person that is distracted by female body parts learn to focus and discipline their mind to think about other things.
That is one of the things.
Let's remove those distractions that are a real other physical person.
You know what also bothers me, like in relation to recognizing with that particular basically like school, like a trope basically problem, is really going, anything inherently deemed woman or girl is hypersexualized, period. Like, it doesn't matter. You have your shoulders exposed, it's hypersexualized. You have your knees exposed, it's hypersexualized. Like, there is so much control of women.
Existing can cause other people problems, except for it's not their fault that you made them, except for you didn't. Nobody makes anybody think anything else.
But it's also like, you know what, guys? Thinking and doing are very fucking different things. The fact that we demonize each other that much for, I thought about the sex in reference to this thing existed, is not actually a problem, in my opinion. Because the thing is, you don't have to do anything with those thoughts. They can just float through your head and keep going. You do not have to attach any value to them.
The problem is that as a boy in school, I can't stop thinking about your shoulders, even if they're in another room where I can't see them. It's terrible.
What?
And so what I'm saying is, by the way, not all of either of these genders have this problem, nor do male-identified people in schools necessarily have any problem with anybody else expressing their bodily autonomy and or dressing how they like.
There's actually even sometimes a thing where they talk about that because people start basically bringing attention to this thing's not supposed to exist, other people think about it more when it comes up because they've been told it's not supposed to be there.
Right.
Like that conversation about where people go that actually the more you try to hide sex or sexuality from kids, the more actively interested they can easily become get into it. It's the same thing with drugs. Like the more you basically try to hide crap like that and not discuss it, not talk about it like it's a horrible thing, actually more people tend to become more interested in it because it's a taboo topic.
Or more focused on, I need to try and understand this thing, because it's everywhere hiding in the corners.
Right? I see it everywhere around me. I can't put it down. It's always like, it's not.
And it's the only thing you're not supposed to think about at all ever, but it's everywhere. Don't think about this.
Uh-huh.
It's like that stupid game. You just thought about the game. You lost. Sorry.
Right.
Anyway, so...
Which actually I think is a really good example of basically that, what I would call social problem, that social issue of going like, I'm not supposed to think about sex, but I just thought about sex, so I lost the game.
Yep.
Like, oh no, don't think about sex, but you just mentioned sex, so I'm thinking about sex, so therefore I'm thinking about sex and I lost.
Okay, so then,
Hi.
in here, shoulders. Cool. School is less policing of certain types of, like, bodies and or genders, okay?
Right?
So that's cool. All right. Well. Look at this. Burn the school slut.
I just love that it just comes out and does it. I'm like, this is...
I'm not gonna like this character, and I do not know how to play her and even fake it nice, because I know what they're doing here.
I mean,
So I will do my best, but if there's room for interpretation, I'm gonna take it.
I will also, though, tell you, for me, I'm not kidding, like, whenever I read books like this, I would drop them. So one of the reasons I was really angry in the previous episode, for me, is that this is the kind of, if this was a book, I would just drop it.
You would go, this is stupid, this is catty, this is juvenile, it's also in a lot of ways unrealistic, and I'm done.
But
And it
mostly
doesn't
the fact that
edify
it's...
anyone, it doesn't add anything to you.
It's not even fun catty, because I do get where the trope of sometimes being catty in your own personal crap is really fun. But I honestly, this has gone so hardcore into it suddenly, this makes me uncomfortable. Like,
still
it's
just
not
like-
my thing.
I love the idea that if you're in this sort of like dystopian horror kind of thing, she's got a business card in her back pocket that says bully, and her price is on it kind of thing.
God, that is, she's really popular, and God, she just...
She's a popular bully.
She's popular. She's really good at it. She knows how to do it. But she's a really nice person. She's just really professional.
Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go to
dirty
see Cindy and hire her for your dirty deeds. 'Cause
Yes.
She will do it really well. All right.
What do you want, Cindy? Okay.
After hooking up with Jonathan and some of his friends, now you're aiming for my Ben, aren't you?
Aren't you? Wait, that grammatically to me didn't work at all. Now you're aiming for my Ben, aren't you?
Yeah,
Like, is that a question then? That doesn't sound very frightening at all. Now you're aiming for my Ben, aren't you?
Aren't you?
I'm not actually sure.
Which is why I was like,
I'm like, that
sure.
sounds so insecure. Is she like an insecure lesbian? Okay, so I will say I actually, like, as much interest as I can sometimes find where some people become...
I'll be fine, keep going.
It's fine.
Okay.
Now it's your turn to die. I'm like, it's okay, I'll sit here for a while. Hand in the pockets, it'll be okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the thing is that while I realize that there is the associated trope basically of the person who is secretly gay who actually lashes out against other gays, I get that.
Or potential, like, essentially objects of interest, if you will.
Right.
Like,
a part of me also just prefers some of it, which sounds terrible, because at least then you could...
At least then they have an internal conflict that's accessible,
right?
And they don't know how to engage with it.
Right.
And it doesn't make them a good person or
No,
what they're doing
not
okay,
at all.
but it makes essentially a chance to sort of... It means that it's possible to resolve their conflict, because you know what their conflict is.
Right. Except for, again, I really just wish they would drop the trope entirely, because it is pretty fucking harmful.
All right, so you're going after my pen.
Aren't you? I'm not sure.
See, and I get the line of going,
she's super popular.
You're
She
after
actually...
my Ben, aren't you? And you're going, are you not sure? No, that's an accusatory. That's an accusatory statement. That was a question.
That was a question, man.
I've stated
I know that was a question.
No, I've stated that you're going after him, aren't you?
Are you sure?
I'm telling you, you're doing this, aren't you?
You're still asking me questions, Cindy.
I'm gonna throw your lunch on the floor because I'm a good bully. Push.
Aren't you? I'm so tired. Aren't you?
You are a good bully,
Aren't you? So
So there's this thing that someone posited that I've mentioned in one game before, but I love the idea, where you say something that's true, but you put it in the air quotes anyway. So it's completely true. So she is absolutely a bully. Everyone knows she's a bully. And just, oh, this is Cindy, the school bully. And you put it in your air quotes, you say it like that. And you're going, excuse me, what? What? Well, you're the school slut, aren't you?
Except we know that one isn't actually true.
Except for no, but you're putting it in quotes, so clearly it's not true.
You're wearing a dress, aren't you?
I just love that concept of someone going, it's something like basically empirically true. Oh, he's captain of the football team.
Again, though, so I will actually, to bring this back around really fast,
Yes.
I also think it's really funny that Byrne is going, what are you talking about? Because also, okay, this is almost like Ben has no autonomy. Like, he hasn't gone out of his way to go hit on us himself, and that he isn't actually one that Cindy should be going after. But because we never encourage people to think with their brains much in regards to, you know, interacting with real life people, because I have actually run into this scenario before where people are like, oh my god, I cannot believe that she would dare do that. And I'm like, your partner had to fucking be involved.
So, for me, this actually relates to a lot of other things, but I want to like basically pull this back to the, to my interpretation of the Snow White trope, okay?
Okay.
So you have the evil queen, and the evil queen is like, if anyone is ever beautiful, if I'm not ever the most beautiful woman in all the land, I will murder everyone, except for I'll murder everyone who's prettier than me.
Right.
And I'm going, okay, so instead of killing Snow White, because you're basically apparently completely believable and absolutely empirical mirror says that they're prettier than you.
Right.
That is the only source in the universe of basically your security and your validation.
Right.
Instead of becoming more beautiful when you literally have transformation magic, you go and try and kill her off. So what I've always done
And
at
by
work,
making yourself ugly.
well, that doesn't matter.
No.
The trope, the stereotype then carries, or I guess the example then carries, where I would like to take it to the rest of the world, where, like in management a lot of times, or even in team building and stuff, with peers, there's been this experience of going, I want to go for that job, but this other person's in my way, so I need to sabotage them. And I said, no, you need to get better. What? You should be more qualified than they. Now, there are other factors involved in reference to, like, people have
Is this
preferences.
who I think it is? Was that?
And things like that. But there's always this idea
dear.
of going, if another girl's after my man, I'll sabotage her. And it's like going, why don't you try and get him to like you more?
Right?
Like, if he doesn't like you enough, that every threat everywhere, I say threat in quotes, that every person everywhere
Who walks
isn't going to be a threat to you. One, you're not secure in him liking you at all. And two, you don't feel like you're good enough to maintain his attention. Work on yourself. You might find you're better than him, or that you guys can do great together.
Or again, acknowledge that whatever communication for whatever relationship you have established may or may not have been clear. And two, you and then you basically, if you go, oh, we never actually decided what our boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever relationship
whatever our
looks
rules
like.
look like, or what's happening
So
here at
I
all.
should probably sit down and go, hey, so are we doing this thing? Person, yeah, we're doing this thing. Okay, so when I'm saying then that thing, since you've agreed with me that this is what we're doing, this is what I mean, this is where we don't do these things, right?
Right, so this is what this means. And I actually did this with someone at one point, and he's like, no girl has ever done that before, of going, so if we're gonna date, I want it to be monogamous, and that means no sex acts with you and another person, and none with me either. Like this, like I was pretty specific about going, we won't be having any kind of sex with other people at all if we're gonna be involved dating. I'll be just with you and you'll be just with me. And he kind of stared me down, and he's like, yes, absolutely. And then like a few months later, he talked to me about it. He's like, no one's ever done that ever. No one's ever asked for me basically exclusively. And I'm like, that is the only way I'm comfortable. And for him, it was interestingly because it was confusing at first, but it was also like flattering apparently, because he's like, I felt more wanted since you went like, it will be me just with you and you just with me, and you said it explicitly. And that was really interesting for me. But anyway, I'm trying to bring this all around, and there's a lot of complicated factors. It wasn't as simple of a metaphor as I thought it would be. But what are you talking about? So here we go. Oh, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Oh.
Byrne, hi.
You sound a little insecure as well.
So unsure.
What's your relationship with Ben?
Trying to
Honey.
appease him so he doesn't rape me or attack me like Jonathan did.
Cindy,
immediately.
Cindy, excuse me, what? Puts down the bully card. Honey, say that one more time.
Honestly, that would be such an interesting story.
It's none of your business. We're just friends. If he's your Ben, shouldn't you know better? What? I'm not sure I know what that means, even.
So the impetus is not on me. You're accusing me about something that, like, you think that this thing is going on. Shouldn't you know, since he's with you?
But not shouldn't you know better? Shouldn't you know the truth? Shouldn't you know the situation?
Right?
Like, shouldn't you know better sounds like you know better than this behavior, not shouldn't you have more knowledge?
Yeah?
So it sounds weird to me. I mean, maybe it works.
In regards to, though, for Byrne, honestly, trying to be... I don't agree with Byrne immediately being catty. I am genuinely fucking irritated about that because, like, whoa, she was super people pleaser. But again, like, this is one of those frustrations about playing Otome games, as far as I can tell so far. Like, for all the things that we have played or tried muddling our way through, is really a level of going, they're not actually really trying to write a character, they're trying to write a series of experiences that all end up with the dating or the romance. That's it. And they don't actually write character very well.
And that's one of the things we've actually talked about is going, for the most part, it doesn't seem like the choices affect your path at all. And two, you can never lose.
Yep.
No matter what you choose, you're always going to end up in a relationship, and as far as I understand these games, with whatever character you choose.
Right.
So, whomsoever at the end you wish to get with, there will never be a path of failure. And interestingly enough, in the games that I've played for boys that are for dating, at least historically, directed towards men, I will say, or towards male individuals.
There's actually more failure.
There is the opportunity for failure, really hard. Both of us have mentioned it in other ones. And in these ones, like, it's so much wish fulfillment that it's like, no matter what you choose, if you make mistakes or things get awkward, or you get a scene you don't like, you'll still end up with a person no matter what.
I think I remember them, though, like, for this game, didn't they, though, like, threaten going, like, that your choices will actually matter? But I swear to God, they threaten. No, because there have been lots of them from Genius where they go, your choices will matter, and I'm like, no, they don't.
Your choices affect, this is your first choice, it will affect what your outcome is.
And I'm like,
and as far as we can tell, it doesn't affect the outcome. And even based on other people's experiences choosing different choices in these games, we haven't seen any other new content except for basically the one answer afterwards.
Yeah, and that's it.
And if the paths are different, I would be very interested in knowing. But again, based on talking to other people who've played them, incling Drakonishi, who's checked some stuff out for us occasionally.
Yeah, which has been great. Yeah, because time investment.
As far as we can tell, there's no other options. You just go through a very linear route with a couple of different statements in it.
Right.
Anyway.
In regards to having, again, a people pleaser sort of personality, really just trying to keep things, calm and even.
Simple.
We're just friends.
Yes, that's usually just keeping it simple.
We're just friends.
But why did he wipe sauce off your face and even tuck your hair behind your ear? Huh? I didn't do that.
Really watching me, aren't you?
Oh, I have eyes like an eagle. Not a brain like one, though. You really don't know. You have no idea why he did that gesture.
No. I was the not a brain like one, no. And Byrne going, is that supposed to be good or bad?
Okay.
That was great. My friend going, this thing, and I'm like, no, friend. Like, idea for the character going,
What? Wait, what? So in case you don't know, most birds of prey are very stupid when it comes to creativity.
They're very underdeveloped, I would say.
Okay, underdeveloped. Okay, so what we would call, I would just say call stupid. Basically, their brains are extremely underdeveloped and have very little capacity for creativity and problem solving outside of their one discipline, which is catch the thing that moves.
Yes.
They have so much put into I see movement from 9,000 miles away, but they have very little left from anything else.
Yes, and owls are also very intelligent.
Yes.
No, I'm including owls because sometimes people don't really realize because they go, no, owls and birds of prey. And if you don't know what a bird of prey is a raptor. Yes. A raptor is like a red-tailed hawk, is like an eagle, is like a golden eagle, is like an osprey.
Yeah, hawks, eagles, ospreys, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it is those
not carrion birds. Carrion birds have more problem solving because they in a lot of ways.
Yes.
And so it's just your high intensity, high speed predators of the air. Your raptor birds, they tend to be very socially dumb.
Yes.
As well as creatively dumb.
Yes.
So they're kind of like, I stare at you and I understand nothing, but food!
Yeah, they're like, blah, la, la, la. Yep. So, I don't know. Why don't you just ask him? Oh my!
The girls leave. Poof! Your minions are gone!
Oh, no!
Minions leave, go and stand behind Byrne. I think, honestly, she's telling the truth. He's
Yeah.
been super weird, and your relationship's been very unclear from the beginning. It's more like you're pursuing him, and he allows it, and you've never specified anything. Because we've been there for the whole thing, watching your back and beating people up for you. So, honestly, she's been through a lot. I think if your, nude pictures were splashed all over school aggressively, even if you did have that foursome, you'd be pretty upset. So, could we just leave her be?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cindy, You.
Amalua!
Nah.
Kayla comes to stop Cindy from throwing a glass of lemonade. Okay,
You have lemonade at your school?
hang on.
Your glasses
Hang
in
on.
your cafeteria.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have glasses.
Glasses.
So, if you
Whoa.
don't know, oh crap, we're getting up on time. Really quickly, as far as I understand, due to the fact that because people do not spend a lot of time trying to educate or get involved with the internal motivations of a lot of children, there's a lot of, I'm going to direct you and make you do something, rather and going like, I need to stop you, rather than, hey, what's going on? How can I help you? Let's get you, connected to what's going on. Please don't hurt people. Let's explain what would happen if you did hurt this person.
So in reference to...
But also going like, they take literal physical glasses. There's actually even schools where you're not allowed, like you don't even have utensils. You have plastic utensils, you have plastic
Because
cups.
kids are poorly socially educated about how to handle conflict and work well in a community and team in school environments, a lot of schools, instead of taking the time to educate and socialize kids, because that takes the job away from the parents.
And we're not supposed to control
But it can
people's
also be
kids.
very controversial if you told my kid what. And so since you aren't allowed to have that power, even though you're essentially a parent for 8 hours a day.
No shit.
They just remove all dangerous things, dangerous I say in quotes, from all environments.
Yeah.
You have simple plastic implements like a spoon, maybe, and you have no glasses or cups. You're allowed like, cardboard juice boxes, that kind of thing.
Right?
Like there is, having an actual glass in a public cafeteria at a school is astounding to me. And maybe other schools have it in other countries, but in America, I have never seen it once.
I gotta say, guys, I am super impressed with this game, how fast this slides into being violent. Like, whoa, we have crossed the line a lot. And I'm also interested going like, my brain like, that's the line you want to cross? I'm like, no, there's been a lot of lines that have been crossed. But like, dang. So in the next one, we're going to deal with, I guess, Kayla stopping Cindy, which is appreciated, but also, again, confusing, because I can't tell what the hell they're trying to write here. And this is...
I'm just going to also mention real quick, even though we're wrapping up, going, you know what? I didn't think about Kayla's belly shirt. I thought about the shoulders, but not the belly shirt. Same thing.
Oh,
less policing of bodies.
Yeah, less policing.
Belly buttons are not allowed in most schools ever, as far as I know. Public schools in America, like that is a no-no hugely.
Right.
So again, progressive school, probably super expensive private school, but also still progressive. A lot of them still have very strict rules.
Right, absolutely.
But anyway,
thank you very much for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you'd like to support us or like to sponsor us to play a game, or just like tip us because you think we're awesome, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or our Patreon. I got some links in the description down below. But other than that, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!